Welcome to the Bloody Pit, horror fiends. I'm the horror rock god, kicking off the premiere episode of Blood in the Water live, right here exclusively on GhostfaceHorror.com. Our daily written briefings cut deep into breaking trades, box office metrics, and studio greenlights. Today, the studio desk is gathering the biggest unreleased case files of the week to deliver your forensic weekly summary. On today's docket, a historic slasher arms race over A Nightmare on Elm Street, Kenan Thompson modernizing Sleepaway Camp, Mike Flanagan's 8-episode Carrie TV series reimagining for Prime Video, The Exorcist Martyrs, deconstructing Behind the Mask 2, the return of Leslie Vernon, and more. Let's drop the blade and throw it over to Shane, Chloe, and Marcus at the studio desk.
There's a frenzy in the dark. There's a shadow on the floor. If you came for safety, you better lock the door. Fight down, stand tight. We're taking control tonight. Red in the current, red in the eyes. It's blood in the water live.
Mics are live. Let's cut straight into lead story number 1. 2 Krugers, 1 sweater. We are tracking an unprecedented studio standoff between Paramount Pictures and Warner Brothers over A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's a complete legal anomaly. Under U.S. copyright termination laws, Wes Craven's estate reclaimed domestic rights, leading Paramount to pounce and greenlight a domestic reboot under their Paramount Primal banner, using Craven's original 1984 screenplay.
Right, but Warner Brothers kept international rights and isn't backing down. They're in active talks with Evil Dead Rise director Lee Cronin to write and direct a separate international reboot. From a production standpoint, 2 major studios are in a high-stakes sprint to get cameras rolling first to force the other's hand.
Having 2 distinct Freddys in theaters simultaneously risks diluting the iconic villain, or creating the ultimate slasher showdown. Paramount's path relies on pure legacy nostalgia, while Cronin's international track at Warner Brothers could lean into modern, oppressive body horror.
Moving to the next story on the docket, a major trade drop confirms Kenan Thompson is spearheading a fresh reboot of the cult 80s camp slasher Sleepaway Camp.
Modernizing Sleepaway Camp is a psychological tightrope. The 1983 original relied heavily on extreme shock value, dark satire, and one of the most famous twist endings in slasher history.
From a spatial and logistical standpoint, camp slashers depend on tight environmental containment, isolated cabins, dark woods, and limited exits. The challenge here is keeping those classic practical kill mechanics intact while adapting to a generation equipped with smartphones and GPS tracking. Rounding out the lead desk with story number 3, Mike Flanagan is officially writing and directing an 8-episode series reimagining of Stephen King's debut novel, Carrie, for Prime Video.
This isn't just another remake. It's a stacked psychological dossier featuring Summer H. Howell as Carrie White, Samantha Sloyan as Margaret White, and Matthew Lillard as Principal Grail. Updating King's themes of religious trauma and adolescent isolation to modern cyberbullying and digital mobs makes Carrie White's domestic pressure cooker feel brutally current.
And structurally, expanding Carrie from a 110-minute film layout into an 8-episode episodic format completely shifts the spatial mechanics. Instead of keeping the isolation confined to a single night, Flanagan stretches the environmental dread across a modern, hyper-connected, high-surveillance public high school layout, where Carrie's torment follows her on every screen in her pocket.
Moving to the psych desk, Universal Pictures and Blumhouse have locked in a March 2027 premiere for Mike Flanagan's The Exorcist Martyrs, starring Scarlett Johansson, Lawrence Fishburne, and Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Flanagan isn't giving us another retread of pea soup possession mechanics or hallway jump scares. He's completely restructuring the spatial containment of the narrative.
And that's where the psychological weight lies. Flanagan excels at dissecting generational guilt, grief, and trauma. Shifting from standard possession tropes towards psychological martyrdom gives the franchise the artistic gravity it hasn't felt in decades. The next story brings us to the long-awaited sequel, Behind the Mask 2: The Return of Leslie Vernon. It is officially locked in for a 2027 theatrical rise.
The original 2006 film deconstructed slasher logistics, showing the calculated prep work, exit routes, and spatial traps behind a killer's rampage.
A modern sequel allows us to explore how Leslie Vernon adapts to modern surveillance, smart homes, and live stream culture. It flips slasher psychology on its head by analyzing the killer as a self-aware performer in an age of constant exposure. Rounding out this spot, Blumhouse and director Rob Savage, Host, are bringing Other Mommy to theaters this October 9th, starring Jessica Chastain.
The story focuses on a young child forming a bond with an entity in her home that physically mimics her mother.
It's a terrifying psychological exploration of maternal imposter syndrome and identity distortion. When the safe haven of a parent's face becomes the source of terror, it attacks our most fundamental psychological security.
That wraps up our narrative and character forensics for the week. Let's shift gears, clear the studio desk, and hand things over to Marcus on the indie couch for practical effects, creature mechanics, and underground horror drops.
Take it away, Marcus.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to the Indie Couch and Gorefest desk. Let's jump into story 1. Keanu Reeves is locked in to star in Shiver, a high-concept sci-fi shark survival nightmare heading to theaters in August 2027.
Keanu trapped against deep-sea predators inside isolated, flooding underwater structures? The spatial layout alone sells tickets.
And I'm auditing the practical creature FX mechanics here. If they rely on heavy practical shark animatronics and underwater gore over cheap CGI, the visceral impact will be off the charts. Story number 2 on the FX wire. Orion Pictures is launching a direct continuation of The Return of the Living Dead this November 13th.
Ignoring decades of convoluted, low-budget sequels to build a direct follow-up to the 1985 classic gives the legacy a clear direction.
And for gorehounds, this means a return to full-scale practical animatronic zombies, melting corpses, and trioxin gas melting effects. Pure legacy practical FX. Rounding out the indie couch with story number 3, a fresh update on Shudder's upcoming VHS mixtape, slated for October 9th. As the network's visceral auditor, I'm tracking the practical FX departments attached to this new audio-themed anthology tape.
The VHS franchise always forces directors to get creative with restricted camera setups in tight physical spaces.
And this tape is promising 100% practical gore, latex prosthetics, analog static, puppet work from Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and gut-churning splatter mechanics. Pure, visceral perfection. Which brings us to this week's forensic verdict for our site audience. On our lead story battle, should Lee Cronin take the Elm Street glove overseas, or does Paramount's Craven Estate path have the true legacy edge? Head to the comments section on ghostfacehorror.com and drop your verdict.
That's right, we want to hear from you. Tell us your thoughts on any of the stories we have discussed here on Blood in the Water Live.
And that is how we lock up the case files on this premiere edition of Blood in the Water Live. Unbelievable work from the studio desk today, tearing down everything from the Elm Street slasher arms race to Mike Flanagan's Carrie series and practical gore mechanics. Now, before we send you back into the shadows, remember that Blood in the Water Live is just the tip of the spear for what we're running across the entire Ghostface Horror Network hub. Mics around the room, let's lay out the network plugs.
If you're waking up needing a palate cleanser before diving into the dark stuff, catch me every morning from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Shane's Buzzsaw Dubman Morning Block. We're running 4 straight hours of sun-drenched reggae rock, dub, and nostalgic rock grooves right on GhostfaceHorrorRadio.com to kickstart your day before the night terror sets in.
Plus, don't miss our daily written briefings dropping every single morning on the Articles Hub at ghostfacehorror.com, where we break down breaking studio trades, box office metrics, and casting drops in full forensic detail.
And if you want to go deeper into character psychology, franchise lore, and cinematic autopsies, pull up a chair to the scare table. We take standard film reviews, toss out the surface-level ratings, and dissect movies like active crime scenes.
And for all the practical FX diehards and audio heads out there, keep your dials locked into ghostfacehorrorradio.com 24/7. When we aren't broadcasting live shows, the stream is pumping non-stop heavy metal, distorted frequencies, and brutal original tracks from our Studio 3117, The Kill Sheet, and Buzzsaw Dubman. If you love latex, practical splatter, and bone-crunching sound design, you're home at ghostfacehorror.com.
You heard 'em, horror fiends. Visit ghostfacehorror.com for written briefs, film reviews, and community verdicts. Stream ghostfacehorrorradio.com 24/7 for non-stop audio terror and morning reggae grooves. Join the discussion in the comments and drop your forensic verdict on today's topics. To send us out on today's broadcast, here is this week's featured track from the Studio 3117 collective, Watched You Change. Crank it to 11, open the files, stay paranoid, and we'll see you in the shadows.
You change from hunter to game. You screamed my name in full-blown terror, no shame. I watched it change in you. It's like you thought you were untouchable. Now you're begging to survive. I've watched you change. I dragged you home, locked in the basement dark. I laid out my tools, left my permanent mark. I watched the change in you. It's
You have been listening to GhostfaceHorror.com.